So here we are again, back by unpopular demand. And tonight I'm going to do something arguably a little bit indulgent. After we did a collection by Marillion with my daughter on the weekend, I knew that I wanted to do this particular song. And I also knew I wanted to do this particular live version of the song because it, for me, is probably the best, certainly my favorite performance of this song, particularly by Steve Hogarth. So, as we've established in these videos, I'm something of an idiot, and I spent a little bit of time searching the internet to try and find a version of the song on YouTube. And then I realized, well, I don't need to play it off YouTube. I've got this piece of software here, and I can play it off the original. So, tonight we're going to look at a sequence of songs called This Town, 100 Nights, and The Party by Marillion. And we're going to look at the version that myself and my partner in the Boom Boom Boys filmed in, I think it was 2002 at the Union Chapel, because certainly for me, this is the most memorable performance of this song. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well do a version that I love and a version that I think, for a given value, looks pretty good. So let's get into it. This is This Town, Rake's Progress under 100 Nights. And a good luck to us all.
This town has turned me into what I have become.
Just before he did this show, the lighting designer had toured the world with Coldplay when Coldplay were at their most successful, and this is one for me one of the most dramatic concerts we ever filmed. The lighting is astonishing, and an amazing location, the Union Chapel, just the best. So, of this lyric sequence, of this story sequence, this is the portion that I probably understand the least. My take is that this is, in a way, this sequence is probably, to a certain extent, metaphor for fame, metaphor for success. The interesting question here is from whose perspective this story is written, because in this first sequence, in this sequence, the sense is that while the town is transforming the speaker, the singer, the writer, the writer's also talking about that sense of feeling the loss of their partner. And so it's a little obscure exactly who the perspective is here as we travel into the story. What is quite lovely, of course, is burned in long exposure pictures. The hot and cold lights inside the head. I seldom can travel in Johannesburg in a particularly heavy rainstorm without thinking of burned in long exposure pictures. That picture of car lights is fantastic. So now we get into story. Now we get into backstory, if you like, narrative backstory. We'll come back to Rothers in a minute. So backstory. We're saving our money for half of our lives, saving our dreams. I mean, that's fantastic, right? The idea of not just putting off, not just putting aside, but putting off so that you can have in the future. And we came here to make the chances real in the big city. And I've been counting the days and I've been watching you change. And I can feel it dying. The noise outside takes you in its arms like a lamb to a lion. I mean, what a line. But even now, I do not know whose perspective this is being written from. I kind of know the perspective of the next two verses. I'm kind of inclined to believe that this verse, this portion of the song, this chapter of the song, is written from her perspective. I'm inclined to believe that this song is written from the perspective of the person who came dragged in the magnetic pull of the wannabe star, of the wannabe dreamer, of the person who was going to make it big in the big city. I feel like that's our starting point, is the POV of the person losing someone. The morning breaks and I watch you awake, and this town takes you down away from me again. And understanding that the town itself is metaphor for the lifestyle. The town itself is metaphor for fame, for success, for fortune, for those measures of success that we all have. But what an evocative lyric. And I love, you may see, they move silently on their greasy wheels. They move silently on their easy heels. What a fantastic picture. We shot this, two of us, two fat guys, 6 cameras, 8 camera angles. See if you can spot the 2 angles that we cheated by shooting the night before in Oxford at the warm-up gig. In some ways, my favorite concert of everything that I did in this lucky period when I was in a place trying to make the chances real in the big city, this big city. This is the performance that, such a powerful performance. And boy can Ruthers play the guitar. But now we're into the Rake's progress. Now the POV, I believe, changes. Now the POV switches from, I'm going to say her to him. This lyric. Hogarth was born in the Lake District and lived in Doncaster. This is not the only lyric where he's described it as a dirty town his father took him to live in. But we all kind of have that sense of our hometowns, I guess, as the dirty secret in the background, the soil that you grew in when you were small has become nothing more than dirt in some dirty town. You've jettisoned your past, you've come to this place, you've come to the place where your dreams were supposed to come true. But you're taking a self-audit when you list all the qualities that you despise and you realize you're describing yourself, and breaking someone up inside is your only source of pride. What a lyric. I remember once in a debate, somebody was being unpleasant, and I threw this lyric at them. When you list all the qualities that you despise and you realize you're describing yourself. And the irony is, breaking that someone up inside was a source of pride to me. It's such a recognizable emotion as this Rake is making his progress. And then we get into the heart of the beast, the soul of the beast. We get into the 100 nights that were the reason why we came here tonight. A dark and brooding set for a dark and brooding song. And a drum kit shot in Oxford the night before. Right there. Strap in. So if you don't know the song, it's the Rake's progress. He's a prostitute. 100 nights of fun and games, 1,000 empty glasses. I feel it change and stay the same as each day passes. Every night, a different person, a different party, a different event. Always different, always the same. They invite me to their gatherings in the finer parts of town. They seem attracted to my indifference. The irony just knocks me out. And I love them as if I love them, and they reciprocate with help. But I look up at these mirrors sometimes and I can't see myself. This is a male prostitute. This is a man prostituting himself. Now, is it metaphor? It is the extension of this town into Rake's progress, into 100 nights. It is part of the story sequence. But it's written not as metaphor, it's written as with the specificity of the mirrors that you can't see yourself in above the bed. The specificity of the occasional help. But even that, you whore yourself for your art, you whore yourself for the money, you whore yourself for the people that will help you climb the corporate ladder. And this is a man looking in the mirror and facing the consequences of those choices, of not being able to see himself anymore. I'm a sweary guy and I avoid swearing on this channel, but it's effing amazing. Effing. It's amazing, this lyric. It paints such a dark picture and it only gets darker. I paid homage to that lyric, which is a posh way of saying I stole it in a in a video I did years and years ago, an anti-drug campaign, and someone was telling the story of their life, and I put those words in the character's mouth. They say that people live and learn, some people only live and live. It seems increasingly clear to me that lots of people only live and live. Living and learning is the exception, not the rule. It's so incalculably moving, that lyric, so evocative.
You don't know that I love you. But if you did, you would know why. Sometimes it's better just to close our eyes.
Sometimes it's better just to close our eyes. Now we get into it. Now we get into arguably the darkest lyric Steve Hogarth ever wrote. The lyric that absolutely astonishes me in its storytelling. Here we go. Mr. Ruthers counts us in, and like the blue touch paper, because this is an astonishing piece of storytelling. And what a performance. You hold your breath.
This song has turned me to what I have become. This town dresses me up.
You didn't notice me as I passed you on the stairs. How could you ever guess, looking at my face, how closely I share your taste, how well I know your place? Even the clothes you wear, I see them when you're not there. What a picture. Two men pass on the stairs. One, full of his sense of grandeur, doesn't notice the other walking up as he's coming down. The history of the world is the history of men in jackboot boots walking up the stairs as men in slippers walk down. This story is the story of a man who thought that he could win and win and win as long as he knew how to play the game, walking down the stairs as the rake walked up. The rake on whom she spends her money. She spends your money on me. I just think that is the darkest, most cynical, most astonishing lyric that Steve Hogarth ever wrote. I don't know if he wrote it as metaphor. I don't know if the POV shifts from this town through Rake's progress into 100 Nights. I don't know if the rake, the whore, the one upon whom she spends her money is prostitute sexually or a prostitute emotionally or artistically. I don't know if it's all of that. I just know that that passage, you didn't notice me as I passed you on the stairs. How could you ever guess, looking at my face? How closely I share your taste, how well I know your place. Even the clothes you wear, I see them when you're not there. She spends your money on me. Holy shit, that is just brilliantly dark, brilliantly powerful. And as promised, for me, the darkest thing Steve Hogarth ever wrote, being performed on this night at the Union Chapel as powerfully as I've ever seen him perform it, as emotionally, as absolutely astonishingly as I've ever seen it performed. And I was lucky enough with my fat partner to be there when it happened and to film it and make this movie. A night I'll never remember. A night I'll never forget. Thanks for watching. I hope maybe you'll do it again. Until then, keep the faith.